welcome to your Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. I cannot believe we are 26 days into February already. I feel like we've blinked, we've gotten a lot of snow, and now we're almost into March, which means that spring is going to be right here around the corner. I'm your host today, Maddie Evans, and I love getting to spend each and every weekend morning with you. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you can tune in at 7 a.m. We've got a great show in store for you today. Have you heard about the expansion in Parley's Canyon yet? Well, we're going to give you some more information on how you can help prevent that from happening, because it's an expansion on the gravel pit. Then if you're looking to bring a forever friend home, well, we're going to interview the Great Pyrenees Rescue of Montana and Paws for Life Utah with my very own mom to maybe help you find your forever friend. So we've got a great show in store for you for the next little bit, and then we're going to do some cooking in the kitchen with Tracy Miller. Stay tuned, but first we're going to take a look at that local weather forecast, and then we're going to introduce you to what could happen in Parley's Canyon, so stay tuned.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
The expansion of the gravel pit in Parley's Canyon is something that many Utahns are opposing right now, and we've got Sam Dunham to talk to us more about what's going on. Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Now let's talk a little bit about what this expansion holds and what it would mean to not only the wildlife, but everything that goes on through Parley's Canyon.
Well, this expansion, to give you just a quick background story, the developer applied for both a 20-acre and a 634-acre open pit gravel pit in Parley's Canyon. And, it goes against county zoning because county zoning is forest recreation area. And he's been trying to find a workaround, and he's in the Utah legislature right now with House Bill 527, trying to eliminate all of his roadblocks to put this gravel pit in Parley's Canyon.
Which not only is it going to totally ruin the view, leave a permanent scar, but it's also going to uproot quite a bit of wildlife.
Yeah, it's actually going to uproot a lot of things. This is really a strike at the Wasatch Mountains in general, because Parley's Canyon is the watershed for Salt Lake City, provides 20% of the water for Salt Lake. And then there's a fugitive dust issue, which Parley's Canyon always has a lot of wind that blows down the canyon, that blows into the Salt Lake Valley. And of course, the storms coming in will blow the dust onto the snow, which will affect the snowpack in the Wasatch also.
That's a lot of things that people may not know as they are learning more and more about this gravel pit. And so what can people do to get involved and that way hopefully put an end to this?
Well, the best thing you could do is there's a great short 2-minute video on saveparleys.org that gives people an overview. It's a Google Earth little video that shows you what's at stake. And really, the mining law that they're trying to change right now would open Parley's Canyon to a 1,234-acre gravel pit, which is 2/3 the size of Kennecott Copper pit. And so it would really be devastating for Utah on so many fronts. Our watershed, our air quality. This is our Olympic Gateway Canyon that connects Park City and Salt Lake City. And, really the Wasatch Mountains here are our #1 economic asset. And sand and gravel is found in abundance across the state. And there's no reason to destroy the Wasatch Mountains for a product that's found in such abundance.
I think that you are absolutely correct with that. Now, as this is getting closer and closer, if people would like to follow along with the progression of this bill, where can they get more information on that?
Well, again, Save Parleys is the best place to keep updated on it, but also our social media accounts. We'll keep you posted on that. And you can reach out to us, but we are trying to be just proactive and send out messages and everything else for people to contact legislators and other influential people in the state of Utah.
And it seems that you guys have a very large number on your petition right now for people to sign it to try and block this from happening, because it will take away all of that beautiful scenery and all of those other things, the watershed, that little wind block. It will ruin the snowpack, and that's some of the best skiing, I would say, in the country.
Yeah, we're really concerned about this, and really the process has gone on too long. We kind of have weak regulations in the state of Utah when it comes to mining. And, one of the things that we would hope is that this brings attention to the mining regulations in the state of Utah. But again, the highest priority right now is for people to oppose House Bill 527. So reach out to your legislators and let them know your thoughts.
Now, if that 20% watershed supply is to be stopped with this mining going underway, then what can people expect in the Salt Lake area as far as their water goes?
Well, the main problem is it won't actually stop the water. It will use an enormous amount of water, which is going to affect our other issue that we're dealing with in Salt Lake, the Great Salt Lake. But what it will do is it will put fugitive dust into the water supply and will cause problems for the Salt Lake City Water Department, which means they have to, treat the water more intensively. And so it will actually add an expense to everybody's water bill.
Which no one would like that. So people should go online. They should go to saveparleys.org. That way they can get all of the information, sign the petition, and find the right place to reach out to all of the legislators, correct?
That's correct.
Sam, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this information, and thank you so much for caring about our wonderful environment.
Hey, thank you.
Make sure that you check out safeparleys.org. That way you can be part of the difference, because this is something that would have a lot of crucial effects to our community. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. I think that dogs are the greatest thing that have ever touched this earth, and my favorite dog rescuer who has helped me get my dog is my mom, Ashley Blackham with the Great Pyrenees Rescue Montana and Paws for Life Utah. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning, darling.
I love when you get to come on and talk to me about all things dogs.
I do too.
I think it's my favorite part of my job. And you have so many dogs right now.
I always. Yeah.
You basically have dogs coming out of the ears. So let's talk about some of the ones that you have recently had great success with.
Okay. Success as far as placing, or success as far as healing and rejuvenating and getting ready for placement?
We're just going to pull up some pictures, and then I'll click through the pictures, and you can talk about all the dogs that we have, and you can just give us like little brief stories on all of the dogs that you have.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to pull up some photos. So tell us about this handsome man.
This is Brody. He was at a rural shelter here. Actually, Uinta shelter in Vernal. And they were filled to capacity, overflowing, and we're going to have to start youthing for space. And Paws for Life saw him and said, oh no, he's coming to me. So he was with me for 2 weeks. Wonderful, got along with everyone, kids, humans, cats, everything. And he got neutered and went to a different foster home, and he is available for adoption now through Paws for Life Utah.
And he's very handsome. He's got really big paws and a really big head.
Yeah, he's like a hairy pibble. Like we can't figure out what he is. So he kind of has that pit bull wide head, but look at his tail. That's not a pit bull tail.
No, it's not. He definitely looks like some kind of mutt puppy.
He's a mutt puppy. The best.
The best. All right. Now, you've had so many tragic cases, and this one pulls on everyone's heartstrings because Doodles are the dog of choice by so many. And so tell us about this beautiful little lady.
I don't know if you have her before shot, but she came in matted head to toe. Like every bit of her was solid matte. Paws for Life pulled her, and she's with the foster parent. Yeah, that's half of it. And so we got her cleaned up and bathed and beautified, and now she's with a foster parent. She gets spayed next week, and she has a ton of applications already. Those really sad stories usually do bring in a lot of sympathy applications, but I'm sure she'll get a great home.
Well, and it's really sad because this is one of those breeds that so many people sought after them with their not super shedding and all of the things that people love about these dogs, but they don't realize that some of them are just bred for puppy mills and then they live these like terrible, sad lives.
Exactly. I've had 2 this week that have just been in horrible situations, breeding and breeding and breeding, and these backyard breeders are going to keep doing it as long as people are paying thousands of dollars for them. So we knew in rescue that that's her beforehand. Yeah, we knew in rescue.
So let's hold on really quickly. Let's show this before, and then let's go back to this. This is the mats, and then this is her after.
Yeah. So happy.
And so people get these bred dogs and they just like live these horribly sad lives.
Yeah. So she was used for breeding a few times. And then when they decided, the doodle craze cooled off and they weren't making thousands of dollars on these litters, then they just decided to dump her. Like, we don't need her anymore. We're done with her uterus, so she can go away.
Which is so devastating. And you, as a dog groomer, volunteer so much of your time to help save these dogs.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, saving them physically from the horrible mats and sores and mess that they've been allowed to live in, but also, the rescue saves them mentally and gets them into, rehabilitative places and doggy daycare and foster homes, and, so that they're medically ready and mentally ready to go into a new home and have a good life.
Which it's so incredible to see someone like you doing this, especially with a doodle, because they are dogs that need that constant grooming. And so to have someone experience, get that dog, make sure that they can be groomed. You guys really make sure that all of the boxes are checked to get these dogs to the safest home possible.
That's correct. You're right. I mean, that's what rescue's all about.
And that's why it's so cool. I'm always so proud when I get to tell people how many dogs you've saved in a month, because I'm like, that's my mom. That's my mom.
It's crazy.
Now you've got some other dogs right now too, and you've got one that you are spending so much time bathing, but let's talk about these ones first.
Okay. So these 2 puppies, Lulu and Penelope, I'm not sure which one is Rich. I think that's Penelope, and the one with the floppy ears is Lulu. But a whole litter of 9 isn't that cute? Oh my gosh, the half floppy ears.
Yeah.
A litter of 9 were dumped at that same shelter, the Uinta shelter, and these are husky peer mixes. So I feel like that's kind of been what's slowing the adoption process down. Is both dogs are so full of their own characteristics and big personalities, and so 9 of them that were rescued, saved from the youth list, and Great Pyrenees Rescue Montana took 3. The little boy was adopted right away, and that's Dad, and we now have Dad. So these owners, again, got tired of breeding. It wasn't going well, so we have Dad as well. The dad is a sweetheart. The puppies are amazing, and usually puppies go quickly. Like I said, I just feel like it's probably the combination of the 2 breeds that's scaring people.
I mean, they're definitely 2 big breeds, but I know that I have a Great Pyrenees who looks just like that dad, and she is my favorite thing in the entire world. So anyone who has any hesitations about adopting any of these big breed dogs, I promise you it's the best thing you're ever going to do. Now, we've got one more sweet little honey that we would like to talk about, only because she has such a tragic story, and you guys have worked so hard to get her to the point of adoption, and she's one of those success stories that you guys fought really hard. You saved her. You are literally bringing her back to life, as her poor body was just beat up and mangled, and now she's on her way to be adopted.
Yes, she is. Oh, honey bunny pot pie. Yep, that's her. So she was found, actually surrendered, but had lived her life chained to a fence at a place in the valley here outside of Salt Lake. And owners had given her really no socialization and absolutely no vet care. She appears to have had puppies at some point. I'm really trying not to let my mind go there, but so she was covered, had no hair. She had a horrible yeast skin infection. When she started losing her hair, our weather started getting bad, and the owners were kind enough to surrender her. And so we have been treating her ever since. We've had her for about a month now, I want to say, and I wish we had the after pictures, but she's filling out. We're, feeding her really well. She's been vetted several times. I bath her every 2 days with a medicated bath. She's on a really potent probiotic to help with that yeast and with her gut health. And she gets spayed, I think, next week and has a potential adopter.
Which is so amazing, and I just got goosebumps, and like honestly I could cry listening to you talk about these, only because I know it's something that makes you so happy, and you've definitely passed this gene down through the family. But now if people are interested in any of these wonderful dogs, where can they go to get more information on how they can save them, or if maybe they're not ready to make the commitment to having a dog for the entire lifespan of said dog, but they can help, they could donate their time, they could foster, or they can donate money, where can they provide those resources for you guys?
Okay, so Paws for Life is local here in Utah, and it's pflu.org, Paws for Life Utah. You can type either of those things in and it will pull up. And the Pyr puppies and all the Great Pyrenees in this region, you would want to go to Great Pyrenees Rescue Montana, GPRM at rescuegroups.org. And yeah, we always need, obviously, donations. We always have fundraisers. We have little silent auctions. These dogs are adoptable to people in Colorado as well as Utah, and actually really any of these adjoining states. We do like to have potential adopters come and at least meet the dogs. And obviously with the Great Pyrenees, there's a pretty extensive, as you know, checklist, just because there can be fence jumpers, and they're big dogs and can be barkers, and some of their breed traits are not meant for everyone, and especially, certain types of apartment living and stuff like that. But that said, we're very, very careful because we've spent so much time getting them safe. We want them to stay safe for the rest of their lives.
Mom, thank you so much for taking the time, chatting with us, giving us all this great information, and as always, thank you to the rescues who help you save all of these dogs. You're such an inspiration to me.
Aw, you too, sweetheart.
Make sure that you check out either rescue, that way you can get your hands on all of these incredible dogs, because it's one of those decisions that once you make, it's going to change your life for the better forever. And I know, because Beatrice runs my entire world. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
Time to talk about salmon. Anti-inflammatory foods. They help your body stay healthy. They fight against disease. Of course, fatty fishes are a perfect anti-inflammatory food. And salmon is one of the healthiest things that you can eat. So we're going to put a little bit of olive oil in our pan. People get nervous about cooking fish, but I'm going to tell you something. It's super easy. The key is buy a good piece of fish and don't overcook it. And season it. Remember, we're talking about zucchini fritters again. We're talking about how you have to season things nicely. Like, look at how much seasoning I'm gonna put on this. I'm going to definitely cover it with a lot of salt and pepper. And I'm also going to get like all these little pieces right here. Like, don't forget about that. Whenever I'm grilling steak or something like that, I make sure I get all the edges. The skin is still on it. So what we're gonna do right now is put this flesh side down in the pan. Wait. My pan needs to be a little hotter, so I'm just gonna make sure my olive oil is all in there. I wanna hear a sizzle when I put it in the pan. And look at that though, that's a nice piece of fish. Now what they say when you are looking for fish, when you're buying it, you wanna find a piece of fish that doesn't smell like fish. So if you walk up and you're like, ew, that stinks, don't buy it. You also wanna make sure it has a nice flesh. Like, see how that's really firm? That's what you want. Okay, we've got a little bit of a warmer pan here, so I'm gonna put that fish right down like that, skin side up. We will flip it over. It will not take very long. I put a cold piece of fish in a warm pan, so I'm going to turn the pan up just a little tiny bit. We are going to make an orange avocado blueberry salsa to go on top of the salmon. So see how I'm just pulling that off. It could ripen up another day, but we're using it today. So this is how you do it. You cut around the pit, the seed in the middle, and then you cut like this. This is the perfect way to peel an avocado, and this is how you get most of the nutritional value. You peel it like a banana, right? How many times have you tried to scoop it out with a spoon and it just hasn't worked out? This is how you do that. You peel this like a banana, and then we have a nice avocado. So, and look, I like the firmness of this. If I was making avocado toast, I would be disappointed that it was that firm, but since we're putting it in a salsa, I like it. Okay, so we're just cutting those up into nice little pieces, the kind of the same size as the blueberries. So I'm gonna get those in my bowl for salsa. The fish is cooking up nicely. I can hear it kind of sizzling, which is what you want. I'm gonna put a bunch of just whole blueberries. And like I said, blueberries are so good right now and so good for you. So we're gonna put equal amounts of blueberries and avocado in there. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt and pepper, because I love my salt and pepper. Gotta have it on everything. I really like spice, so we are putting some jalapeno in there. We'll mince this up really small. Depending on how spicy you want it, take the seeds out if you don't want it that spicy. Keep the seeds in if you do want it spicy. A lot of people claim that if you roast your jalapeno first, then it's going to be even more spicy. And you know what? I kind of believe it because I really like to roast those. Okay, that's too much. We're going to do about 1 part. So 2 parts blueberries, 2 parts avocado, 1 part zucchini. And of course, we'll have the real recipe because nobody likes it when I tell them parts. And then we're going to add some orange. Orange and salmon go so nicely together. I'm going to put a little bit of the orange juice right in there because why waste that delicious juice? And then I'm going to segment this orange. So when you segment an orange, you just do like this, get everything out of there. This is a good orange. I'm kind of surprised though, because oranges are usually a winter time fruit, but this one is juicy and delicious and smells really good. Okay, and then we're gonna segment it like that. So we're gonna do that all the way around just to keep the membrane out. This is a delicate way to enjoy an orange. All right, moving on over here. Gotta get the orange off my hands. If you're flipping your fish or your steak or anything that you're cooking in your pan or on your grill and it doesn't want to flip, it's stuck a little, give it another minute. You want all those juices. Oh, this one's ready. See that? There we go. And it's starting to cook. I can see that it's still pretty firm. We're going to cook it skin side down now because that is going to make the skin cook and then it'll easily come off. All right, so we've got some orange in there and some jalapeno, some blueberries, starting to get a little messy over here, some blueberries and some avocado. Now I'm gonna put a little mint in there. This is actually the only plant that I grow. All right, so we'll put a little mint in there. We've got a little bit of the juice from the orange in there. And now I'm gonna add a little more salt and pepper. I know I added some before, but I'm adding a little more. And then I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of rice wine vinegar, just to give it that acidic flavor, taking it off the heat, skin side down. Now that's a sockeye salmon. So there's different kinds of salmon. So you get king salmon, sockeye salmon, coho, and pink. Most of the time we get sockeye. Sockeye is a delicious fish as well, and it's red. It's from the Copper River in Alaska, and that river is 300 miles long, and these fish have to swim upstream forever. So they're big, they're meaty, they're delicious, and they're really healthy for you, high in omega-3s and good food for anti-inflammatory eating. And then there's coho, and coho you can find as well, and that's kind of like sockeye coho is just a little bit below that, but it's still very delicious. Okay, there we go. We have our salmon. See, this is how I do it. I just kind of touch it. See how it's firm like that? That means it's nice and done. Sockeye salmon with anti-inflammatory salsa on it. Go out there, cook, eat healthy, and enjoy yourself. Thanks for joining us.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
thank you so much for tuning into your Sunday edition of Wasatch Weekends. Make sure that you get out there and you enjoy all of the snow that we have. Hopefully we'll start to see those warmer temperatures make their way in as March approaches, because we're going to be there before we know it. I've been your host for this Sunday edition, Maddie Evans, and I cannot wait to see you next Friday. Make sure that you catch us every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 7 a.m. We'll see you next time.